Do you feel like you've lost your curls this summer? If they feel very frizzy and dry and maybe very tangly, it could be from one of these common mistakes. My name is Gina and welcome back to my channel. Here we talk all things naturally curly. I love helping you simplify things. I talk about product ingredients and I love helping you problem solve with your curls, which is what we're going to do here today so that way you can still enjoy your summer and your curls can thrive. And special thanks to V&Co who is kindly partnering with me for this video. They're a new affordable brand that I know you guys are gonna love too. As I walk you through all of the mistakes, I'm going to be doing a wash day routine and a styling routine, so stay tuned for that. Let's first discuss swim prep. So if you are going straight into the pool or the ocean and you're going to be getting your hair wet, you could be causing damage to your hair if you're not properly prepping it first. Not to mention lots of frizz and tangles. There are a few methods that you can do to prep your hair before swimming. The first one is probably the easiest, and that is just to wet your hair down with clean water. So this is water from the tap or from an outdoor shower or wherever you can get water. You can even take a spray bottle, which is what I recommend, so you have it right there with you on hand and you have clean water. Spray your hair down with water fully saturated with that clean water. So this is going to help your hair absorb less of the chlorine or the salt water. Because our hair absorbs water like a sponge, our cuticle swells with that water and kind of pushes the hair open. So by first saturating your hair with that clean water, it's not going to absorb as much of that salt or chlorine water. You can also apply a leave-in conditioner or a conditioner to your hair before you get in the water. And this is one of my favorite methods because it's also going to prevent a lot of tangles and matting and frizz when you're swimming. After I wet my hair down with clean tap water, I'm going to apply the V&Co Curly Hair Conditioner plus peptides. So this is going to help condition my hair and protect my hair from absorbing too much of that chlorine or that salt water. You can also use it to detangle. It has a lot of slip to it and it's very moisturizing. So I definitely recommend removing those tangles first if possible. Now, if you're not at a tub or in a shower, you could apply a little bit of leave-in or just a little bit of conditioner to your hair and then gently brush it through or just sort of finger detangle it with your spray bottle. It's going to help tremendously. And don't worry about the fact that you still have old product in your hair or your hair is dirty because we're going to wash after we are done swimming. So V&Co is a brand new brand that is very affordable. These are available on Amazon. You can also find them at your local Target and Walmart stores, but I've been really liking these. I've been testing them for a while. This is the curly line that I'm using here today. They have something for every hair type, everything from straight to wavy to curly to thick hair. And each one of them has a different key ingredient in them to help out with the specific needs of that hair type. They currently have 4 different lines, one of them being for straight hair, which contains aloe, wavy hair, which is rich in rice proteins, curly, which contains jojoba oil, which is what I'm gonna use here today, and then the thick version, which contains coconut oil and biotin. So far, I have used both the curly line and the wavy line, and I've enjoyed them both. I find them to be very similar, but again, it's just those key ingredients that are different. The curly line containing that jojoba oil and the wavy line containing those rice proteins. All V&Co products contain their proprietary peptide technology, so they're rich in peptides, amino acids, and proteins. Stay tuned for mistake number 3 for more on these ingredients and why you might need them in your routine. Another method for prepping your curls before you go swimming is to apply a coconut oil to your hair or a serum that contains coconut or simply a conditioner or a leave-in that has coconut oil in the ingredients. So for that, you could totally use the V&Co thick conditioner because this does contain coconut oil. Coconut oil is one of those oils that is highly penetrating, so it's going to soak into the hair and help prevent your hair from absorbing that chlorine or that salt water. Did you know that chlorine can be really damaging for the hair, especially if it's left in? Chlorine not only causes dryness, but it can also cause color fading and cuticle damage. Salt water can also be really drying on the hair. So you do not want to leave the chlorine in your hair for a long period of time. Instead, you want to try to wash your hair or at least rinse it with clean water as soon as possible. If you can get to an outdoor shower, go ahead and do that and just rinse your hair with that clean water. And then you can go ahead and wash your hair once you get to wherever you're staying or once you get home. That way you can get rid of that chlorine in your hair so it's not air drying in your hair and staying in your hair overnight. Once you're able to wash your hair, you want to either use a gentle shampoo if you're going to be washing your hair every day, like if you're swimming a lot, or you want to use a clarifying shampoo That way you can fully remove all of the chlorine and minerals and salt from your hair. This is something that you would maybe want to do once a week or so. But in between those clarifying washes, that's when you would use a more gentle shampoo. So I definitely recommend trying the V&Co Curly Hair Shampoo with Peptides. This is a shampoo that I'm using here today, and I really like it because it's very effective without drying out your hair. That's usually what I look for in a shampoo. I want something that's going to really get my hair clean, but not leave it stripped feeling, especially for something that I'm going to use midweek. So I will usually rotate my regular shampoos like this one with a more clarifying shampoo. So every like third or fourth wash, that's when I would use a clarifying shampoo. But using a more effective shampoo like this for your regular wash days is going to prevent buildup and can also get rid of that chlorine or that salt water from your hair, so that way your hair doesn't become dry. With curly hair, everyone always preaches to wash your hair less, and yes, that's true. You don't want to be washing every single day if you have naturally curly hair, but it's going to be healthier for your hair to go ahead and shampoo out that chlorine or salt water, even if you just washed your hair yesterday, than it would be to let that air dry and leave it in your hair until your next wash. After I rinse out my shampoo, I'm going in with the V&Co Curly Hair Conditioner plus Peptides. So this is the same conditioner that I used before I shampoo. I still like to condition after I shampoo because you do still need to condition and restore that moisture in your hair after shampooing. But this contains that proprietary peptide technology. It also has the jojoba oil. It's very moisturizing while still not being too heavy, so it's not going to weigh down your hair. It has a lot of slip to it because it does have one silicone ingredient in it, and that's going to help give your hair a lot of slip. It has amidimethicone. It's towards the end of the list, and that's going to help with damage as well. If you're experiencing a lot of damage, if your hair is very tangly, that's really going to help it feel softer and prevent those tangles during the styling process. So I apply it and comb it through to make sure it's fully distributed through my hair and kind of scrunch and massage it in, and then fully rinse it out after a couple of minutes. Mistake number 3 is neglecting proteins, amino acids, and peptides in your products and in your routine, especially if you're experiencing damage, breakage, split ends, dryness, and if you have fine or high porosity hair. Our hair can very easily become damaged from the chlorine, salt water, and the sun. Yes, the sun can be very damaging for our hair, which we will talk about in the next mistake. But all of these things can really wreak havoc on our hair, and they increase our hair's porosity, which then leads to hair that is more exposed. You're going to end up with more frizz, more breakage, more split ends, and it's a pain because you have to grow out that damage. But you can strengthen your hair and prevent that damage with proteins, amino acids, and peptide ingredients in your products to help prevent that damage. So by incorporating proteins, peptides, and amino acids into your products within your routine, you can therefore strengthen your hair, and it will make it more resilient, so that way when you are doing fun things and exposing your hair to the sun, it's not as likely to become damaged, and you're also preventing further damage from happening. All V&Co products have that proprietary peptide technology, as I mentioned, which is going to help strengthen the hair and prevent damage. So if you have damaged hair, or if you do these types of activities in the summer very frequently, you do want to work these ingredients into your routine, and including them in your shampoo and conditioner is just an easy way to get them in without having to do an extra treatment. Another way to get in the strengthening ingredients is to do a deep conditioning treatment with these strengthening ingredients such as proteins, and you can rotate your deep conditioner with your conditioner every couple of wash days. Typically when I do a clarifying shampoo, like on the weekends, is when I will use my protein deep conditioner. I like to rotate my protein deep conditioner with protein-free deep conditioners just to maintain that protein and moisture balance, because you don't want to overdo it when it comes to proteins, especially if your hair is overall very healthy and you're just kind of maintaining that strength in the hair. But if your hair is very damaged, if you're currently transitioning, you're trying to get your curls back, you definitely want to incorporate protein more frequently. So you could totally use a protein deep conditioner in addition to using the shampoos and conditioners from V&Co with the peptides and amino acid ingredients. Another method of strengthening the hair that actually works at a molecular level to repair the hair is using a bond repair treatment, or finding products that have bond repairing ingredients in them. So these are your K18 type of products. Olaplex, Curlsmith Bond Curl, Living Proof Triple Bond Complex is another one that I like. I can link you to some of my favorites down below, but all of these contain bond building ingredients that target 3 different types of hair bonds in our hair. Some of them only target certain bonds, and you have different bonds in your hair that can be broken by doing different things. We're not going to get into all that in this video, but essentially if you do have severe damage, if you bleach or color your hair, or you're in that transition transitioning period, definitely consider looking into bond repair ingredients because these are able to repair the broken bonds in our hair at a deeper level in the hair. That's really the only way to repair damage. You still need to grow it out, and ultimately you need to cut off damage to fully remove it and to fully transition to healthier hair. But these can definitely get you there closer by incorporating them in your routine. And these are usually like a treatment that you would do once a month or a couple times a month, not something you would need to do every wash day. Protein ingredients can also be really helpful to include in your styling ingredients. I usually look for them in my gels because they can help with moisture retention and making my curl shape and that definition last a lot longer. Aside from water, the sun is actually pretty damaging on our hair. If you've ever noticed when you go outside a lot or if you've been at the beach, your ends might get a little bit lighter or maybe your hair looks like it's been highlighted, and that is actual damage to your hair that's been done by the sun. The sun will actually damage your hair and then increase the porosity of your hair. And the higher the porosity your hair is, the more difficult it is to manage. It won't hold on to moisture as easily, and you have to use a lot stronger hold products to really tame frizz. So I recommend using products like Curlsmith's Miracle Shield, which is a heat protectant that contain UV protectant ingredients. Now, some hair products do contain UV protecting ingredients in them. I can list out some of those here on the screen that you might want to look for. There's lots of different ones that can protect from the sun. This actually says that it works to protect from the sun, environmental factors. It also protects from sea and salt water. So this is something that you can spray on your hair even when your hair is dry, or if you do that method where you wet it down or you add conditioner, you can spray this on your hair before you go out in the sun, even if it's not a wash day. I'm about to style my curls right now, so I am going to go ahead and spray this all over my hair, mainly as a heat protectant today, but if I knew I was definitely going to be going out in the sun today, even if I wasn't going to be getting my hair wet, I would spray my hair down with this. And you use it first, then I'm going to brush it through to make sure it's evenly coating all of my hair. You might want to also kind of concentrate it on the ends to make sure that they fully get covered. And don't forget about the ends on shorter hairs like baby hairs. Make sure you get it up there too. So just to recap, if I were prepping my hair to get my hair wet in pool water or in the ocean or some type of water on my hair, I would first wet it down and either apply a conditioner or apply Miracle Shield or both, and make sure that that's fully saturated, and then you're ready to go in the water. By the way, this does come in a travel size version as well, so that's a great option just to throw in your beach or your pool bag. But really the best way to fully protect your hair from the sun is with actual shade or by covering it. So I always recommend staying in the shade as much as possible. That way you don't get damage to your skin and to your hair. But also covering it is another really great option. So you can do hairstyles with silk or satin scarves. I've shown some of those before. You can use a scarf to tie your curls up in a really cute way. And you can even kind of cover all of your hair with the scarf. So you can sort of tuck in all of your hair, tuck in the ends of your hair. That way it's fully covered. Last year when I went to the beach, I wore a scarf, but I left the ends out of my hair, and I definitely got some sun damage on my hair. My ends look a lot lighter. And the ends are also more susceptible to damage from the sun because our hair's porosity increases as it goes down the strand. So it's already a higher porosity. If your curls are getting completely ruined by the end of the day in the summertime, or just any time that you style and they end up very frizzy and kind of limp and you feel like you've lost all definition, this is from not having enough hold in your products and or not using products with humidity blocking ingredients if you are going to be in humid weather. So curl creams alone are not going to provide your hair with enough hold. You can't really just use a curl cream or a foam or a leave-in conditioner and expect your curls to not be frizzy. They likely will get ruined by the end of the day, and especially into day two after you sleep on them. So I'm first using a curl cream for moisture. I do still like using curl creams for moisture. I just use them underneath my gel. This is the Jessie Curl Confident Coil Styling Solution. So this is sort of labeled as a styler product, but it is creamy, and it's more of like a lightweight liquidy cream. I'm not sure if you can tell the texture, but it's super light. But this has moisturizing ingredients, so I am gonna go in with this first. I probably even applied too much just now. The more cream and leave-ins that you have underneath of your gel, the less hold that you're probably going to get out of your gel, because that creamy texture and those creamy moisturizing ingredients are going to soften the hair, which is the opposite effect of strong hold, which tends to be a harder texture. So it's necessary for me for moisture when I'm using the gel I'm going to show you, but you could totally skip this. So if you really want to get strong hold, skip this step and go straight to your gel. You just want to use a gel that's not too drying if you do have dry hair, if you're going to go with just gel as your main styler. Now for gel, I'm going in with the Jessie Curl Spiralicious Styling Gel. This gel is a lightweight gel that provides strong hold. And if you read the ingredients, it contains polyquaternium 69. So you definitely need to be checking your ingredients if you're trying to humidity proof your curls and if you want strong hold, because unfortunately you can't really rely on the brand's hold level and what they say on the label or on the product description. You really have to check the ingredients and look for ingredients that provide hold, such as polyquaternium or V&Co polymer, and you want those to be towards the top of the ingredients list. Ingredients are listed in order of concentration, so we really want to see those ingredients towards the top, and that will tell you if the product is going to provide your hair with enough hold to actually last through the end of the day. As I mentioned, this gel is very lightweight. It also has very simple ingredients. It comes in fragrance-free. Also, the cream that I use is also fragrance-free, so both of these do come in that fragrance-free option. I will link them for you down below, but I really like them, especially for a more lightweight option, because I always hear complaints from you guys that gels weigh down your hair, and this one it definitely won't. If I use this by itself, my hair does get dry by day 2, which is why I paired it with the cream. This is actually glycerin-free, which I don't prefer. Like, I actually like glycerin in my products because my hair gets dry, and I find that when I go glycerin-free, my hair gets dry by day 2. I'm doing my usual styling routine, which just involves sectioning to help more evenly apply the products and get more coverage, and then I am brush styling. And for brush styling, I'm just using my Tangle Teaser brush, but the reason I do this technique is because it really helps to smooth frizz. It's really difficult, especially if you have hair that's like a coarser texture like mine and higher porosity, to just use your hands to kind of smooth out the little like bumps and tangles within the hair. It's hard to describe, but I notice a big difference when I don't brush style and just like the wet frizz that my hair has. So this helps to smooth it out. And then it also helps to define the curls and better clump the hair. So you just are enhancing your natural curl pattern with brush styling. And that can really make your hair last a lot longer. So if you feel like your curls are getting ruined by the end of the day and you're doing all these other steps that I mentioned, but you're not styling, like doing anything to help with curl clumps and definition, that could be why. It does make a big difference to further enhance your curls versus just sort of leaving them as is, and to have that help there is going to help them last a lot longer. So if you don't want to brush style, you can also finger coil, which is what you will usually see me do after I brush style to help the curls just go in the right direction, but you can also just solely finger coil. So after I'm done styling, I like to take my hair repair towel. You can use any towel that you use for your hair as long as it's not a regular terry cloth towel, and you can also use a cotton t-shirt. And I just like to go around and scrunch my hair, and this is going to help soak up any excess water and really speed up your dry time. So if you're not trying to spend forever diffusing, especially when it's hot in summer, definitely do this. You can also do this when you get out of the pool. Maybe you just want to get your hair dry. Definitely recommend rinsing it with clean water like I mentioned, and then if you just want to like get it dry quick, you could totally have your towel with you and just use that to scrunch your hair. But I always do this before I diffuse, and it significantly cuts down on my dry time, especially if you're someone who styles soaking wet. You don't want to just go straight from soaking wet hair to diffusing. You're going to be diffusing forever. I also like to go in with a second light glaze of gel, so I'm just applying some of that Spiralicious Styling Gel to my hands. I'm actually going to add a little bit of water just to make sure that I have enough slip and just to dilute it a little bit. And I just sort of glaze over my hair to tame any frizz that might have formed, especially if the towel soaked up any of the product. And this is also going to give your hair so much more hold. So if you're really struggling with getting hold out of your curls and your curls are not lasting, go in with another layer of gel. I know this might be surprising, but leaving your hair wet for long periods of time, it can actually be damaging to the hair over time. Basically, when our hair gets wet, the cuticle swells and the hair swells, and then as it dries, it lowers back down. And when our hair is in that swelled position, it's very vulnerable to breakage and more susceptible to breakage, and any type of tension or things that come into contact with the hair with friction can lead to breakage much easier. Our hair is a lot weaker when it's wet, so we don't want it to be in that weakened state for long periods of time. So if you've just been swimming, if you can wash your hair shortly after, that's great, and get it dry with diffusing. But what you want to avoid is being wet all day, like if you're out and about swimming, whatever, and then also washing and styling your hair soaking wet, and then leaving your hair soaking wet to air dry all day or into the night. That's like over 12 hours of your hair being wet if you're going to be air drying. So that's why I highly recommend diffusing, because you're able to get your hair dry a lot faster, and that way it's not in that weakened state for a longer period of time. And over time, the hair can definitely become weakened from staying wet for long periods of time. I much prefer diffusing because I can get my hair dry and it's finished right away instead of walking around for hours with wet, crunchy curls. Air drying results in more frizz when it's humid outside because the cast won't set right away. I also find that my curls last so much longer throughout the day because the gentle heat sets the curl shape into place. My curls are less elongated and have more volume and shape with diffusing. Now that I'm done diffusing, I just popped in some of my bounce curl clips along the part to help with some volume. But while we let this sit, let's talk about wearing our hair up. So obviously when it's hot outside, you're going to have to wear your hair up. You're going to want to put it up if you're going to be doing things outside and in the water. But putting your hair up tightly, like in a slick back style, especially when your hair is wet, can be really damaging on the hair and cause a lot of breakage, especially if you're someone who wears these hairstyles every single day. You're just asking for breakage. I have a lot of shorter hairs all around my hairline. A lot of it is from new growth, but it can also be from breakage too. I don't wear my hair up tightly, so for me, I know that it is new growth, but if you're seeing split ends on those shorter hairs, then it's definitely from breakage. You don't want to be wearing your hair in those slick back styles every single day. And as we talked about, our hair is weakest when it's wet, so we don't want to be putting tension with scrunchies on our hair when it's wet. I would recommend using something like a claw clip if you are going to put your hair up while wet, or maybe doing like a loose braid in your hair. You could totally do that to keep your hair up. If it is wet, if you're swimming, maybe try a claw clip like this. I think this one is from Heritage or something, but these are really cheap. You can find them on Amazon. This is going to be less tension on the hair compared to wrapping an elastic around your hair. That wrapping when you're twisting the hair tie is what is going to cause that breakage. If you do want to use a scrunchie or a hair tie, I highly recommend the ones from Curlsmith Collective. I can link you to these down below along with my code. They're really big and they're not going to cause breakage because they are made of real silk, so they're going to be very gentle on the curls. There's some other methods you can use that are even better for tying up your hair, such as a scarf. So I've shown how to tie a scarf in your hair. This one is also from Curlsmith Collective. It's a real silk scarf, but you can also just get a satin scarf. Anything will do that's going to glide against the curls and not cause friction. You can even use this when you're sleeping to keep your curls protected, but you really want to avoid doing those type of tight styles, especially when your hair is wet. You really don't want to cause that breakage because it is so hard to grow that out, and you'll end up with shorter hairs all over that in turn look like frizz. Like I have a ton of root frizz, mainly from new growth, but you can also get that from breakage as well. And it's really hard to tame. Like it will stick up all over the place. It will poke through and you can't get it to clump into curl clumps. Had to come outside to show you guys the final results and just to remind you that some frizz is normal. You're always going to have some frizz. You also have to remember that your curls are not most important when it comes to summer fun. Still do all of the summer things, get in the water, go swimming, enjoy the sun. These are just things that can help make your routine a little bit easier, some small tweaks in your routine, especially for those of you who are really struggling with damage, or maybe you're someone who is in the pool and you're swimming every single day, that sort of thing. I hope these can help you out. Let me know down below which of these mistakes you are currently making and what you're going to tweak in your routine, if there's anything you found helpful in this video. And don't forget to check out all of the V&Co products. I will have all of them linked down below. You can definitely find something for your specific hair type. Share this video with a friend if you have someone with straight or wavy hair who could also benefit from these products. If you want more help with styling your curls to prevent frizz in the summer and in the humidity, and you want your curls to last longer, check out the recent video that I will have linked right here on the screen. It's all about frizz hacks. These are small tweaks and things that you can adjust in your routine that make a big difference when it comes to preventing frizz. A lot of them are styling techniques and just those small things that you might not even think about in your routine that make a big difference. So I will talk to you over there. Bye, everyone.